because I feel like a lot of us, we feel like we're making progress, and then we have one of those rough days, rough weekends, rough weeks, rough months, and we think, I thought I was making all this progress, and now I'm feeling bad. What happened? What is going on? Welcome to another Monday episode of the Risen Fallen Podcast. I am your host, Mark Hendrickson, and if you are brand new to this podcast, if you're brand new to this show, then what you can expect is open and authentic conversations about things like mental health, self-development, and how to get your life moving in the right direction. If you are not feeling good about where you are right now, at least having the confidence knowing that you are stepping at least 1% closer to who you want to be in the future, what you want to do, the life you want to live, and all that beautiful stuff. If you are not new to this podcast, if you're a returning listener, a returning viewer, returning consumer, I guess would be the best next word. I don't know what else to say, but if you watch this on YouTube, if you listen to this on a podcast platform, if you're returning back and supporting this stuff, then thank you very much for coming back and supporting the journey, supporting the motion, supporting the notion, supporting the idea and the show, but mostly the idea of, like I said before, moving one step closer to who you want to be, having the future you want to have, as well as, making yourself 1% better every single day, and along the journey, lifting other people up as well. That is pretty much it. Whether you're brand new to this show or not, then I want to say from the very bottom of my heart, thank you for coming here and supporting this journey with me, and coming along for the ride. You are the reason that I do what I do. So I'm going to take a little sip of coffee here right now. I implore you to take a sip of coffee or a sip of water, protein shake, amino acids, whatever healthy drink you have in front of you. If you got nothing in front of you, let's take a breath together. Let's take a second right now to just get focused and get honed in on the idea of making ourselves better. And we're going to take a second and just get grounded right now. So if you got nothing in front of you, just take a breath and let's take a second to focus up. Big gulp of coffee. Big gulp of coffee. So I really have been thinking a lot about social media and the pros and the cons that it has, and how it impacts different people, different genders, different whatever. And I feel like the overarching topic, the overarching thing that a lot of people tend to do on social media is comparison. And we've talked about this in the past. We've talked about how, like Teddy Roosevelt says, comparison is the thief of joy. Maybe that's like a Mark Twain quote, somebody else. I feel like I might be attributing it to the wrong person, but the idea that comparison is the thief of joy, we understand that concept. We understand that completely. And then when it comes to actually comparing ourselves, we still do it anyways. We look on social media and we see so many different things, from people's highlight reels to maybe some controversial political topics. But typically what we're seeing when we see our friends, we see, oh, they went on this vacation. Oh, they went out to this place for dinner. Oh, they went to see this new movie. They woke up. They did this cool stuff. They always show like them winning. They had this workout in. They got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. They did their meditation. They did X, Y, and Z. They're just so on point. And how come I don't feel like that all the time? How come I feel like I want to sleep in? I want to take a day off. I want to relax. I want to kick back. I don't have the money to spend to do these cool things. I can't do that. Why me? Why me? Why me? Why them? Etc. And even in the mental health and self-development space, we see this as well. We see people, they'll share, oh, this was really difficult for me, but hey, I pulled it off once again. I'm a killer. We see all these wins. We see everybody's highlight reel, and we think, why aren't I that awesome? Why aren't I that cool? How come I don't do these things? I can't afford this thing. I'm this out of shape. I don't like my body. We just go down these crazy rabbit holes of just like loss. Everything on my end sucks, and everything on everybody else's end looks awesome. They have this cool truck. They have this cool car. You know the stuff I'm talking about. I feel like I'm kind of beating a dead horse at this point. But we make these comparisons and we think, how come? Why not me? Why not me? That is ultimately what we think. Why not me? And I think that a lot of us, for starters, forget about how many people envy the life that we have. And even our past selves, how much our past self would envy certain aspects of our lives today. I remember there was so many times where I just, like as a teenager, early 20s, I was like, I can't wait to live on my own. I can't wait to live on my own. I can't wait to have this freedom. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do that. And then by the time by this time I've lived with a couple different buddies. I live with my girlfriend now. I've lived in apartments. I've lived in houses. I've lived in all these different areas, different areas of the city, sometimes downtown, sometimes more rural, sometimes, I've had all these different experiences. And I think back to, my main goal as a late teen was I just want to be able to support myself and live by myself. I just wanted that freedom so bad. And now it's funny to look back at the perspective that I have now, where I have a truck I would have been envious of 5-10 years ago. I have a place that I live that I would have been envious 5-10 years ago. I get to do a lot of cool things that I would never have gotten to do 5-10 years ago. And, it's interesting to think about how many other people would envy the life that we have, or aspects of our lives, or even your past self would be envious of some of the things in your life right now. The other thing to remember as well when you're comparing things on social media is you don't get the whole picture. People share their wins, people share their highlight reels, and you never see what happens behind closed doors, the family problems, the financial problems, the emotional struggling, the emotional suffering. Typically when people are like, hey, this is my big thing that I have to overcome. This is my big struggle of the day. It really is probably like number 4 or 5 on their list of struggles. It's just one of the ones that they feel confident or comfortable enough to talk about. We just live in this fake ass world where people go on social media and they share all the fake shit, like all the struggles and the losses that they deal with, or not even the ones that they actually are too scared to share. It's just the ones that they've either already overcome or they know they can overcome, whatever it could be. It's like the social media safe version of what their struggles actually are. And then the highlight reel is obvious. It's like these are the biggest and best things that they get to do. And half the time that they're doing them, they're not even conscientious of doing the thing. They're too busy trying to get the best angle for a fucking picture while they do it. I saw a video the other day of these fans who went up to Fousey. I don't know if you guys know who Fousey is, but I've got mixed opinions on him. But these fans come up and they say like, oh, like, can we take a picture with you? And he's like, dude, you didn't even ask me how I'm doing. You didn't even ask me what my day has been like, who I am. Like, you didn't ask a single question. We could have had such a cool interaction. And now the only interaction we have is you coming to ask me to take a picture, and you're going to get like 6 fucking likes on Instagram, and you blew it. Like, you blew this moment with somebody that you quote unquote, idolize or like look up to. And it's so true. Like, I don't know how many times I'm out having a cool experience and I look around and I see people taking their phones out to take pictures, and I get you want to remember it, but it's like, man, live in the fucking moment. Like, are you going to remember doing this thing, or are you going to remember taking a picture of this thing so you could post it on Instagram? Something to think about. It's food for thought. But the real reason I wanted to record this episode, the actual thing that was on my mind, that was kind of a sidetrack thing to talk about. The real reason I wanted to record this podcast is to clarify one specific thing real quick. And I'm going to take one more sip of my coffee and then I'm going to jump into that. So you won't even notice I'm gone. I'm going to take a sip. All right, sorry. I was just holding on to that coffee and I was like, why aren't I sipping this? But the real reason I wanted to record this episode is because I don't know, like if have you guys ever realized like maybe you wake up one day, you don't feel your best, you're feeling like garbage, maybe low energy, maybe low confidence, maybe low self-esteem, and you think, I thought I was making strides forward in regards to my mental health. Why am I not feeling good right now? Why do I not feel good? I thought I was getting better. How come I feel bad? And this is something I was thinking about literally as I was running today, this morning, and it sucked. I'm very sore today, so it was a difficult run. But I go for a run. I sit down on the toilet after my run, and I'm sitting there thinking about this topic, this idea, because I feel like we get the misrepresentation on social media. I feel like we get the misalignment with what mental health actually means, what the actual term good, like a good someone who's mentally healthy, what that term actually means. I think that we get this perception of like this monk-like person who doesn't get overexcited, doesn't get over happy, but also never really gets sad. And we hear like that ancient Chinese farmer story of like the maybe it's good, maybe it's bad. Very stoic, like a lowercase s stoic, unemotional. We see someone who's like extremely mentally healthy, and in our heads we create this vision of like this very emotionally neutral person who doesn't stress, doesn't get angry, doesn't get upset about things, and is just able to coast through life, meditating and manifesting, etc. And we think that's the goal. And I think that so many of us set up this weird false goal for ourselves that doesn't even really truly make sense. Because being mentally healthy, being healthy and having a good mental health doesn't mean you don't have ups and downs. It doesn't mean that you don't lash out sometimes. It doesn't mean that you don't feel your emotions, get angry, get sad, get jealous, get envious, feel shame, feel guilt, or anything like that. In fact, I'd say one of the first steps of good mental health is acknowledging all of those emotions. If you don't acknowledge your emotions, they get buried, they get swept under the rug, and they manifest in very ugly ways. That goes for both men and female. It has nothing to do with a fake toxic masculinity or anything like that. It goes both ways. Emotions that are unacknowledged and not taken care of get swept under the rug, and they manifest in very, very ugly ways. Humans were built with emotion on purpose. There's a reason we have them. They are signals, alerts, and alarms for us to make changes. But that's a little bit off topic right now. Actually, no, that's on topic, but not really on track to where I want to go. The idea that I'm trying to convey, and I will try and wrap this up a little bit right now, make this quick for your little Monday morning drive to work or whatever you do when you listen to this, but the idea that being of good, sound, quality mental health doesn't mean that you don't have these ups and downs. It doesn't mean that you don't have these emotions. It doesn't mean that you don't feel all of these human experiences like envy, guilt, greed, jealousy, happiness, sorrow, sadness, etc. I don't know how many emotions you can name, but that's pretty much all the ones off the top of my head. And it doesn't mean the opposite either. It doesn't mean that you just let these things overwhelm you and overcome you and dictate how you behave all the time. It means when you have a good basis, a good mental health, a strong, healthy mind, it means that when you feel the highs, you can acknowledge what they're actually from. You can acknowledge this is a good dopamine rush, serotonin rush coming from something that actually made me proud of myself. Not a quick fix dopamine hit like from a donut or from a sugary snack. or jacking off, or any way that you could, drugs, alcohol, using and abusing yourself or other people. If we just take all the good feelings as they come, then it can lead to a lot of gluttony and hedonism, or whatever the word is, but not good stuff. It can lead us down the wrong road. And the other side is true as well. When you're of good mental health, it doesn't mean that there is no lows. You don't have the days where you wake up, you feel like shit, you feel low self-esteem, low motivation, low inspiration, low self-confidence. You still have those days when you're of good mental health. You still have those down days, those dark days. But they just don't define you. They don't become a part of your identity. You don't say, "Oh, I'm garbage." You just say, "I feel like garbage today." You acknowledge it. You say, "Hey, this is what I feel like. This is how I feel today." And maybe you could investigate. Why do you think you feel that way? Maybe you had a lot of sugar, a lot of shit before bed. You were eating like garbage. You stayed up late. So your body slept in. You feel really lazy. You didn't sleep. Maybe you overslept. Maybe you underslept. Maybe your quality of sleep was bad. Maybe there's an actual substantial reason, something that went wrong in your life, that you feel stressed, you feel anxious, you feel scared, you feel upset. To actually investigate those emotions. And I think that really is, I guess, now that I'm coming to this, to full circle here, I really think that is what it means to be of a good mental health, having a sound mind, is to be able to investigate your emotions, to be able to look at the highs that you feel and think, okay, what's the source of this? Is this something that I've done that I've made myself proud of? Or is this just a quick fix, a dopamine rush? What's the source of this? And how can I make it something that can be substantial in my life and something that can be sustainable in my life? How can I continue this good feeling if it comes from a good source? How can I moderate myself? How can I moderate if it's from a bad source? And then the same thing from negative emotions as well, not just the highs, but also the lows. To investigate the lows and think, why are they coming about? Is this a natural thing? Is this something that, maybe something tragic went on in my life and it's completely normal for me to feel bad about this? Or is this something that's just been constant in the last month, 2 months, 6 months, last year? This negative feeling that I have towards an aspect of my life. Why do I feel this way towards that thing? But, is it a me thing or is it a that thing? And if it's a me thing, what kind of changes do I have to make? If it's a that thing, how do I get rid of that thing? Does that make sense? Anyways, just something that was on my mind this morning. I wanted to cover it and just give you guys a little perspective shift as we roll into this Monday. I hope you guys are doing well. I will check you on Thursday. I'm excited to hear how your weeks went. Please let me know. Other than that, I think that's pretty much it. If you are interested in joining the Risen Fallen group on Telegram, the daily conversations that we have, reach out to me on Instagram. We still have the Zoom calls and in-person meetups every single week, so we still connect either in person or on Zoom. And if that sounds like a community you'd like to join, reach out to me on Instagram. If you're listening to the podcast version of this, share it with a friend, rate it 5 stars, leave a little review. I read every single one of the reviews. If you're watching this on YouTube, like, comment, and subscribe. Other than that, hope you guys are doing well. And I hope that this kind of gives you a little bit of, a shift in your perspective, because I feel like a lot of us, we feel like we're making progress. And then we have one of those rough days, rough weekends, rough weeks, rough months. And we think, I thought I was making all this progress and now I'm feeling bad. What happened? And I just wanted to reassure you and help you understand and really just walk myself through this, because this is something that I'm still understanding to this day, is just that it is so normal to have these highs and lows. That is what being human truly is. And it's just how you respond to those highs and lows that will kind of indicate where you're at right now mentally. So that's pretty much it. I'm excited to hear you guys on Thursday, hear from you guys, and let you hear from me on Thursday. I will drop a regular episode as usual at 5 o'clock in the morning for the podcast version, at 5 o'clock at night on the YouTube version. Other than that, just wrapped this up under 20 minutes. So with all that being said, much love and peace out, you beautiful human beings. Bye.